Afternoon all. Okay, tie breaks. I know we're a few days late, me and Chess explained. Chris, my good friend Chris. Hi Chris.
Yeah, hi.
We've been fiddling around for the last 2 hours to try and get a new technological configuration. We're going to use the ICC with multiple examines, so Chris can also control the board as well as me. We've got the game loaded. So this was game 13. So I'll move forward, Chris. Shall I? D4 by Gelfand against Anand. So 25 minutes each, 10-second increment per move.
Yeah, and the time control proved to be very much an important issue in the tiebreak, as there was a constant time difference between Anand having lots of time and Gelfand having very little time. Okay, but let's get ahead here.
Yeah.
We got the same opening like in the regular match. I think in the regular match we had this 3 or 4 times. So Slav again.
Yep.
And Gelfand opts for this e3 move order. The first new move for the match comes on move 5.
He's closed in the bishop. I was just whoops. I'm just this bishop's closed in. I've never used the Dash's annotation facilities, so this is I'm having a bit of fun at the same time as doing this. So anyway, moving on. So e6 is the semi-Slav, what do you call Moran variation?
Yeah, it's the Moran variation if black goes knight bd7 now.
Oh, sorry, knight bd7. After knight f3, knight bd7.
Yeah, this is the mainline Moran variation. But in the match we had a6 played, I think 3 times. E6. Maybe 4 times. I'm not quite sure. 3 or 4 times. But knight bd7 is new for this match. But of course not new for games between these players. They both play this line, and Anand actually used this exact opening to beat Kramnik twice in the Bonn match in 2008, of course. In 2008, so this line basically won him the match with 2 black victories. But different to Kramnik, who played bishop d3 here. Queen c2, right? Gelfand played queen c2.
Queen c2, yeah. So, and then we see bishop d6. So black again is that logical break in the center. He's keen on the e5 break. So bishop d3.
Yeah, in this position, there's also the crazy possibility g4. Which Gelfand actually played before. It's not like he's never playing sharp openings, but it's not the kind of line maybe for this tiebreak. You kind of feel silly if you lose the first white game. So in the game,
I don't know. I think it might be more appropriate for rapid games to put pressure on the opponent.
Yeah, but it's also a problem if you bring up exactly the type of position that your opponent excels in. So.
Yeah. Does that balance?
So bishop d3, it's just the normal line where white can also hope for a bit of pressure. So castles now, yeah, both sides castle, and then black plays e5.
Yeah.
No, I pressed the button.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, I need to get used to this. So black played e5, and this really shows that he's into simplifying the position a bit. The alternatives here, and black has got a main alternative here, is d6 c4, bishop c4. Now black has quite some choice. I think the main move nowadays even is a6 here,
right.
Or instead of a6 you also have the immediate b5. And this goes on and on. Theoretically, white goes to d3 or alternative to e2 and stuff like this. This is just a different kind of game where black keeps all pieces on the board. And this e5 move that Anand played here really leads to an immediate opening of the center. So Gelfand took on d5.
Yeah.
I now played e4, and this opens up the position completely in the center.
Yeah. So here we've got a lot of central tension on the central squares. I turn that off. Yeah. Okay. So moving on swiftly. So which way is Black going to play here? Actually, he takes on d4, and now we see Knight takes d5. If Knight takes d4, I think we've covered that in the game before. Knight c5 might be good. If we just put that in, Knight c5.
This is a good move, most likely, because I'm not seeing what White is doing now to preserve his important bishop here.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Okay. So
but another possibility, just to mention briefly, let's say Knight takes, and now Black could also think about this here. And this is also very decent, because if White moves the bishop now, you've got this thing going here, just win a pawn. And the alternative might be a move like this, but this looks quite decent for Black, I think. So it's a matter of taste, maybe.
Yeah.
So it's not nothing to be afraid of. So White took with the knight on d5, and Black recaptured and played h6 to cover h7 pawn.
Yeah.
So very logical turn of events up to now.
Yes.
And yeah, now it's pretty clear that we've got those somewhat weird pawns here, d4 and d5 in the center, sort of, yeah, turned around. Usually it would be a white pawn on d4 and a black pawn on d5. And this shows that, yeah, these pawns will most likely get lost in the process, and White's aim is to somehow emerge with the better pieces in this completely open position.
Yeah.
It's not much that you would get there, but it's of course completely risk-free. It looks like, but the game gets complicated later. Okay, so how did White proceed here? I don't remember.
b3. Now, I guess we should mention, if Knight takes d4, it seems, I think, Bishop h2, is that a good move? Then you can recollect that knight. Is that that's why Knight takes is not particularly good, or is there something even stronger?
Yeah, well, okay, this yeah, this should be fine.
Yeah, so Knight takes d4 is not desirable here. So b3 was played.
Yeah, White tries to win the pawn back with his bishop. And also this bishop doesn't have a good square. It could go to d2, but this would really don't help at all with gaining the pawn back. So this just attacks to d4 and will help to restore material equality later. And well, Black's moves are also quite natural. I think he played knight f6, yeah, or rook e8.
Okay, so knight f6. Sorry, knight e5 was played.
Knight e5 you played. Okay, sorry.
So hitting that very valuable bishop. So prompting White to have to do something about that. Knight takes d3. So what White plays was actually knight takes e5 here. And after bishop takes e5, Black might have to be careful in some variations now about f4 to attack that bishop. But for the moment, he plays rook e1. Okay, so rook e1. Then we saw rook e8. And here it's only the queen protecting the rook, which means that if queen takes d5, we'll have f4. At the moment, only the queen is protecting the rook. So I think this is one of the reasons why Anand, he plays now in this position, he plays bishop d7. So all his pieces on the back row are connected to each other now. There's much more. So this d5, there's no rush to immediately put pressure on d5. The d4 pawn is also protected anyway.
Yeah, Black needs to complete his development, and he's also got a nice rook c8 move with tempo on the queen.
Yeah.
So finish development first.
So now Queen d2, preempting Rook c8, and maybe f4 might be interesting in some variations. It looks otherwise weakening. You wouldn't normally want to play that, but Queen d2 gets out of the way anyway of Rook c8, and so we see Queen f6, which looks quite logical, putting more support for d4 as well as more pressure on f4 square.
Yeah, and also you've got this bishop f4 move. If
yes,
if white would play like something like rook c1, then bishop f4 would be good.
Yeah, bishop f4. Whoops, I'll put that back. Maybe I should find out what those commands do before doing this stuff. All right, let's swiftly move on.
It looks funny.
So g3 was played. g3.
Yeah, I think this has both the idea of maybe going f4 after all. At some point, you need to be cautious with this move, but f4, and also this bishop f4 was quite an annoying possibility because you also don't have a good square for the queen really. So this makes sense. So now rook c8, I think. Yeah.
Rook c8. Yes. Just a quick note though, there is a bit of a compromise here on the light squares here. These light squares are a bit weakened, aren't they, with g3?
Yeah, it's not a move that you should make without considering this.
Yeah.
It looks nice. Okay, so rook c8, and this color complex also gets important here immediately. Now Gelfand, I think, went a4, right?
Yes, a4. So what is the intention of a4 here?
Yeah, I think it was. I think Swidler in the commentary sort of, it's a little bit of a passing move. Like, okay, I'll do a little bit of strengthening here, and you show me what your plan is. I think partly he's right, but it also has some little ideas. One idea could be something like bishop to c4, securing this c4 point for the bishop. And maybe at some point there might also be bishop b5 as an idea. It's just what I'm thinking of immediately.
Yeah.
Otherwise this move is not doing much besides weakening b3, and this is an immediate problem because Anand now went queen f3, and this sent Gelfand into a deep thought. Because what are you doing now?
Yeah.
The problem is that you somehow need this bishop f1 move potentially to cover the g2 square.
Oh yes.
If black goes bishop h3, and then b3 is just hanging.
Yes.
So this is quite annoying here.
Oh blimey, yes. So bishop e4, he's hanging b3 here. So in this position, if black is allowed bishop h3 and forces bishop f1, then so if well, it's not black's move, but say this, then bishop h3, bishop f1. Well, you could take and then just take on b3. So this, so bishop e4 kicks that queen. If we revert back to the main line, kicks that queen.
Yeah, he tries to avoid this kind of line and tries to stay active here.
But he's sacrificing b3.
Yeah, and this wasn't intended when he played a4.
Yes.
You could really spot that he overlooked queen f3, or not the move itself, but the consequences he maybe didn't assess correctly. So yeah, Anand now grabbed on b3 and is a pawn up. The only issue being that black's queen has exactly one square available, queen b6.
So this is a bit of a dramatic point in the game already. That Anand, the current world champion, you know, he's won a pawn. He's notorious for being one of the best rapid players. So this is a dangerous situation. So can white generate compensation? And black's also, no, he's not. Is he threatening anything apart from that? He's just cheekily won a pawn, and if the queen gets back to safety, it's going to be really bad. So this next move exposes a potential discovered attack where bishop takes d4 on that queen.
Yeah, I think black wasn't threatening anything in particular.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe queen b6 and back with just
Hmm.
keeping the pawn. But this rook to b1 immediately, yeah, sharpens this position immensely, because now white, yeah, just intends to get d4 back, and is close to also catching the queen.
Hmm.
So it gets very tactical now, and I think didn't Vichy take on g3 now?
So in this position, bishop takes g3. Yes, exposing an attack on this bishop. Rook takes e4. If this is routinely captured, rook takes e4. That would be unpleasant. So this is a very dramatic position. Now, after bishop takes g3, so white has a few choices. Can I get rid of this arrow? No. Okay, let's just see what white plays here. Rook a3 in this position. So he's got his bishop hanging on e4, but black's bishop is ready to be taken on g3. But in this position, okay, so black here with his queen attacked plays queen b6.
Yeah, it's quite a funny position, yeah. Like all kinds of stuff is hanging. G3 is hanging, and E4 also.
Yeah.
And we got a little bit of a tactical sequence now. I think he took on D4 now, yeah.
Right, so taking on d4 with the bishop protecting that rook, so the queen is double attacked. And if it just moves, then maybe rook takes g3 is really dangerous, coordinating an attack on g7 here. Which,
yeah, I think if you compare it to the game in which Anand took on h2,
yes,
I think it can lead to a very similar position. It's just that black has won a move here and also a pawn in the process. So white took now, which I think is sensible. Yeah, and now I can give this check again.
yes,
He needs to remove the queen after all from this double attack,
yeah.
and then it's really
Yeah, and we have a scary position with this coordination now on g7. So this is arguably one of the more exciting games already of the match in this racket.
yeah, definitely. Definitely, it's quite dramatic. So okay, black needs to get this piece back, of course.
And g7, it was quite frightening here with g7. He plays bishop takes g7, so threatening to win the queen, if nothing else, with bishop e5 check. Okay.
Yeah, it's of course a very complicated position, but like in I think all games, Anand here had a huge time advantage. So this is very important to see, because this sort of influenced the game now a lot, I think. So I think, what did he play? King h7, yeah, if I remember this correctly.
King
Yeah,
h7, king h7, which protects h6 as well. And maybe rook g8 is now very useful. Rook h4 is also a potential useful move. So
yeah, it's a very understandable move, especially with low time. But white can take on g7 now. Funny enough, b7. Sorry, not g7.
on b7,
He took
sorry,
on-
b7.
Yeah, he can take on. I think he did. Yeah, he took on b7. No?
Yes, he took on b7.
Yeah, and now it gets quite interesting. So this position is arguably even good for white now. With this setup that we have now, I also have the possibility to start up an engine here and do a little bit of computer analysis on the side if it gets too complicated. And I just decided that I should switch it on.
Okay.
I also didn't have time to prepare really for the game.
Okay, maybe you should, but I shouldn't. We'll just
Yeah,
because,
just once in a while. I think it's helpful once in a while if it gets really complicated to have a look. But you shouldn't let the the engine do the thinking all the time. It doesn't help, but once in a while it's good to double check what you're seeing yourself. So I don't remember what wish he played here. The check on h4.
Check the next move. It was rook g8 in this position.
Rook g8. Yeah. Okay.
So rook g8 was played here, attacking that bishop. It seems is that bishop needs to move. It seems, but okay.
Yeah, and here, which is very important. Here, Gelfand was very down on time. I'm not sure exactly how many seconds or whatever he had left, but if he would have more time here, I'm pretty sure he would find the right move, which is queen d3.
Queen d3 looks like a dangerous move with the nasty pin. Queen d3, yes, nasty pin against that rook. So what would black do here against this pin?
Yeah, it's fairly complicated. Black could, of course, play something like f5, like protecting this with a pawn, but this is very dangerous. A move like bishop b2 is quite dangerous here.
Bishop b2? What about f3 looks quite... I don't know, is that too dangerous to play f... Is that a losing move for white f3? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you do, and I'm not using the comp here on f3. Just rook e7 maybe. Is this what do we do? What do we do now?
All right. Okay.
E7?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but bishop b2 is very strong because it just prepares a move like queen c3.
Oh yes, and it pins that bishop now to the king.
Yeah, it pins the b7 bishop. And it's really hard for black to do anything here.
Queen c3 coordinating attack on g7.
This is sort of a crossfire now of both rooks, and black is tied up immensely.
Yeah.
I think it's very critical for black.
Right, so this queen d3, yes. And if bishop f5 was played here, is that losing immediately to rook takes f7?
Yeah, you couldn't take on f7.
What about the check? Rook h4 check.
Check.
It gets very complicated because there's bishop e5 after all this. If we win the queen...
Yeah, the thing is you need to calculate all this. Yeah, this is checkmate.
Bishop e5! Oh my word!
Yeah.
The tactics and the backfires.
Yeah, this is checkmate. So it wasn't, this queen d3 wasn't an easy move, yeah?
No, it wasn't. It's brilliant.
It's not like, okay, you do this and it's all easy. But you need to see all this, that on queen d3, bishop f5, rook f7 actually is working. And I'm not sure, maybe he was already down on seconds. He was very low on time. This I remember for sure, but not quite sure how low it was. And the thing is, if you play queen h6 here, which he did, this is just a position you cannot lose as white. So
but he missed the golden opportunity to be up. I mean, in this, he's worked so many years to get to this point, hasn't he? Through all the qualifiers, he beat Grischuk, who's one of the top Russian grandmasters. And you come to all this, you hold Anand in the main match, and these critical. It's such a painful thing in a way. These blitz games, these rapid games.
Yeah, rapid is more a matter of nerves and also of and which we saw in this playoff very clearly of using your time properly, and it's no doubt about it. I think by now everyone knows the result, so we don't do any spoiling here. So Gelfand lost this match, but if you look at the games, he was clearly the player who should have won it. Just from, if you look at missed opportunities, he could have won this match pretty easily.
It's a golden one here with queen d3, yeah, but
it's just, the thing is, it doesn't help if you only have 20 seconds on the clock. So
but it seems almost accidental that he dropped b3, but it gave him this huge rook later on the 7th rank.
Yeah, of course. It's
exerting influence. That's crazy.
It's very random. It's very random. And I was also quite surprised how quickly this quiet type of maneuvering game turned into this this crazy position. So just to wrap it up, after queen h6 we have a mass exchange here, and at the end there's just nothing left.
Yeah, oh my word. So just rook bishop versus Rook.
Bishop c8. Bishop c8 is an important move. Yeah, just it's important. If Black would capture immediately on h6, he would need to defend something, a rook endgame with pawn down, because
Yeah.
now a7 is actually hanging. So White would have an extra pawn, and Bishop c8 is just a better move, which avoids all kinds of unpleasant stuff. Because now White has no choice. He needs to attack the bishop himself. The rook c7 or rook b8. I'm not sure. Rook c7, I think.
So the rook's kicked off that 7th rank. So it's not automatically double attacking these two pawns.
Yeah. So now king takes, rook takes on c8, and rook takes a4.
Yeah.
And it's just dead. So Black doesn't have Black isn't a pawn down simply, and can easily stop the d-pawn with his king and rook combined. So it's just a dead position. So yes, this was a big opportunity coming up, sort of out of the blue, for Gelfand with this queen d3 move. Before actually it was equal, but it isn't easy to play, of course. So Anand, can't really blame Anand in that he got into this this position. It's was very complicated, and he also said in the press conference, if we were quickly back to this position, rook takes b7, he said in the press conference that he had seen this move, but he couldn't believe it would work. So he sort of relied upon this move not working, and now Black is already in some trouble, I think. Especially in rapid. You don't have they didn't have the possibility to think for 10 minutes at some point. This would have certainly helped in this position. So it's kind of a missed opportunity.
Let's do a quick overview and summary. So we see a repeat of the Slav from the main match, but with knight bd7 instead of a6, which Anand is very experienced with. But now we saw queen c2 instead of Kramnik type bishop d3, and then Black breaking in the center quickly with e5.
Just a second. I don't see the board at the moment. I see the board with rook takes b7.
Oh, sorry. I'll go back on the main control. Sorry. Do you see the board now?
Yeah, I do. It's
sorry.
Not.
Pardon
I know
me.
the game,
I used the wrong
Oh.
controller buttons. Pardon me.
Okay.
So sorry. Just to recap. So we saw a repeat of the Slav with queen c2 now. Black breaking in the center with this quick e5. And e4 mass tension in the center, and after knight takes d5, a pile up on the d file, a bit reminiscent of one of the match games where there was everything on the d file. But here we saw now b3. If knight d4, there might have been bishop takes h2 and then queen h4. So actually knight e5 now, which makes the bishop is automatically protecting d4, and that protection is now increased soon with queen f6 here, protecting the bishop, protecting d4 more. So both pawns in the opposing territory are not subject to immediate capture for a while. Instead we see g3, which looks a bit controversial, weakening these squares around the king. But now a4, which looks even more perhaps controversial in the light of Black's next move, which not only attacks crudely these weaknesses created by g3 with crude threats like bishop h3, but they're effective, because if the bishop moved back, then queen takes b3, seemingly just clear pawn up. But in the game, Black seemed to go almost a clear pawn up anyway after bishop e4. The bishop more aggressive on e4 rather than f1 though. So this is now a gambit situation. So what has Black got? What has White got for this gambited b3 pawn? There's a lot of chasing that can be done now against this queen.
Very hard to tell. If you look at it now, it's very hard to tell what was Black doing wrong here, because he sort of got into trouble, but you would think he's a clear pawn up. I thought this as well. So maybe I'm not quite sure what he did wrong there. Yeah,
Yeah,
hard to tell. Really hard to tell. It looked very yeah, very logical in a way.
maybe a safe move is Queen B6 because Bishop D4 you've got Queen D4, but instead he plays Bishop G3 here. Maybe Queen B6 might be an alternative to what was played. So Bishop G3 really enters even more complications, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is really the kind of show me move.
Because actually there is this threat of Rook A3 as well. So Bishop G3 is going into this. Queen B6, and I wonder, why can't the Queen return back to F6? I don't know. Do you see any major thing for White here?
Yeah, I think Bishop A. My idea would be Bishop A3 here. B7 is an issue.
Ah,
So just an idea.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's very complicated. Let's say Queen F6. Yeah, and if White would take now, then D3 is a pretty nasty move. The Rook moves Rook C2.
Oh, blimey. Oh, blimey, that is bad stuff.
Very tactical, yeah, and very inconvenient.
Yeah,
Complicated stuff. Yeah, maybe Queen B6. Maybe Queen B6 was a good idea, but also Bishop A3 is maybe what was just the first idea that I had. Oh, maybe this is better. Possible. The Queen looks safer. I think he just wanted more. Yeah.
he did. This tactic will get him a second pawn potentially. But Rook A3. And yeah, it's getting to be a really hairy position now. So his queen's double attacked.
Check.
It's possible that he came up. If you look at this line, it's very forced. Yeah, Bishop H2, King H2, Queen D6 check, Rook G3 is all pretty much logical. And maybe when he played this, he sort of underestimated something here, like Bishop G7, King G8, and then maybe Rook B7. He didn't consider Rook B7 maybe, and just thought, okay, I'm threatening Rook G8,
Yeah.
expelling this bishop, and Black also has got some ideas like Rook H4 check and stuff like this. So maybe he just didn't see this move. And once you're into this line, you cannot really divert anymore. You
Yeah.
have to play this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Possible. Always have to remember they need to take these decisions in seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a tournament game.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think what's Anand's big advantage here, he's able to make those moves pretty quickly, and they're not so bad that they would lose the game if he makes a mistake. Yeah, these mistakes are rather smallish, so they wouldn't lose the game immediately. But this was one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where Gelfand really could have taken advantage of this, but I think he was just too low on time
Yeah.
to really calculate this properly, and then decided to
Yeah.
play this cop-out move,
But-
Queen takes H6.
Yeah, exactly. My thinking, bailout move, Bishop takes H6. Queen takes H6
Check.
as a bailout simplification.
Check.
And unfortunately, Black has that painful Bishop C8, so there's no advantage whatsoever.
Yeah, I think it would have been a draw anyway, but this is just completely dead. And yeah, it was really an exciting game.
Yes.
Very, yeah, at times I know there are times when I just think, okay, those classical tournament games are pretty nice, but isn't Rapid just more fun to watch?
Well,
it's
I am-
very often the case now.
I'm biased. My ECF Rapid puts me in the top 60, I think, with 209, and I might be going up. I really like Rapid, but it's not with increment. So this is more casual Rapid with the 10-second increment.
Yeah, good. The thing is with the increment, I think it's, to me it's very. I don't understand actually at all why online, even why there is why people play without increment, because it's just much more close to proper chess than. So I would immediately ditch those 5-minute auto pairings, for instance, for a 3-2 auto pairing immediately. Then I would just stop playing 5-5-0 immediately. and I also prefer 1+1 bullet, but
I think some people like the increasing time pressure elements. Though.
of course, yeah, of course, it's understandable. It's thrilling, of course, but I very much appreciate to have a little bit of an increment, so that I can actually win with a queen up, or can draw with rook versus rook, which some people play on time. It just prevents people from being total idiots.
Yeah,
To be honest, but okay, this very much diverts from the game.
No, I think there's
So,
greater morality on the chessboard with the increment. Yeah.
yeah, it's just, I think it's just sometimes if it's a very clear from the position point of view that there's no way to progress and so on. It just makes more sense to draw the game and to be able to ditch out the simple move that you can really get your half point or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it's also good that they use increment in all those tiebreak games, besides this notorious Armageddon game at the end, which we didn't get to. We could have easily gotten into blitz games, of course, because Gelfand had more than enough chances to play at least 2-2 tie. But
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
that was game one.
Okay, we'll upload this and see if you guys like it on YouTube. Hope you got something from it. Okay, thanks, Chris. Okay, we'll try this and see how it goes, and then maybe do some other games later.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.